Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony here with you here today. How to get revenge on the narcissist or the psychopath. A lot of people ask me this question. They're wondering what they can do to get back at the narcissist, the psychopath. How can they get revenge on them? You know, what is it I can do to kind of get even with them? Well, I do have an answer for you. I would say, of course, like they say, success is the sweetest revenge. However, and that should really still hold true for you. And realize that you don't have to get revenge on them. You don't have to, unless they've, hurt you, you don't really have to turn them to the authorities or enlighten everybody else with regards to who they are. Chances are their lid is going to blow at another time, at another location. The narcissist or psychopath generally always get found out. They get smoked out by other people on down the road. Their cons get exposed. Their lies, don't cover up, and eventually there's a flaw in their system. And hopefully you have exposed this person, meaning you've outed them. You've seen what they're about. You've discovered the multiple phones, or you've discovered the multiple relationships, or the multiple jobs, or the multiple lies, the pathology within them, and it's just gotten too much, and now you're ready to move forward. The greatest revenge, I think what a lot of people are really asking is, what is the narcissist really afraid of? What is their biggest fear? How can I really bring them down? I think is more the question most people want to ask. And, basically, the one thing that the narcissist or psychopath really are afraid of is just that, of being exposed. They are afraid of their mask being ripped off. They are terrified that someone is going to find out that they are weaving an intricate pattern of lies, that they are not who they pretend to be, and that people will find out. But also, I have found that the narcissist, the psychopath, once their lid is exposed, they're going to test you to see if you'll remember. They're going to test you to see if you remember that. That they're like validating your reality. In other words, they're testing you to see how brainwashed you still are, and they're now wondering if you've been able to crack through to your own reality. And so if you do expose them, they're going to test you and ask you if you still want to get back together with them, or a lot of them, they're not going to remember what happened. They have a kind of a faulty memory system when it comes to tying their emotional events together, and oftentimes they really forget what happened, even if it was something extreme, a big fight. It's just like the psychopath will just kind of like, well, that's just part of me doing business. I mean, that's just how I operate. They kind of expect this. It doesn't bother them. It doesn't really faze them. It's very, very bizarre to witness that. Just like when you try to get back at them, there was one gal who had discovered her husband was a psychopath. He was taking money from their family business, which she gave him a job at, and the divorce and everything. And she had then taken away his dog and put the dog to sleep. And I mean, it was totally irrelevant. He had no emotional connection, no regret. Just okay. I mean, it's just like it didn't faze him, and not just like, oh, I'll pick up and move on. It's just like he had no emotional connection, and to either the animal, and no emotional connection to getting found out and getting exposed to his job. It's just like, next. I mean, these people are like the repeat criminals. I mean, you can do various things. You can expose them, and I think that there are certain people in their environment, I would say like their primary supply, because they have very many levels of supplies. They have very many levels that they will juggle in their life, in their everyday life, and you know, it's very interesting too, because in the psychopath, like, if you want to know, you're very much find that when you get to know them, they really don't have a sense of history. They don't like to be in a lot of pictures. They don't like have the family album. They don't, you know, oftentimes they're not in certain pictures, and that's a very strange phenomenon. It's almost like they don't connect with having a past. They just kind of connect to consuming supply. So, you know, I would say it's like their exposure from their primary source of supply at the time, which might be, you know, whoever they're living with. Like if you're the other woman and you expose them, it would be a different level of, you know, fear to them versus, you know, their primary supply, who they were living with and who they were, you know, really duping even more seriously, that they, you know, are afraid of. And then, you know, they're also afraid of course, you know, calling the police. So the ultimate way to, you know, is just have the police called and have them deal with it. And oftentimes, you know, they're very resistant to therapy. So being like, I'm gonna, you know, commit you or send you to therapy, you know, that they're not really afraid of it, because this is who they are and they know that they can't change. And if they put up a facade that they're going to change or go to therapy, well, it's a facade, it's a lie. See through it right away. That's not going to work. It's not gonna happen. I mean, even, you know, a highly functioning psychopath, which there are many, they will go to all the you know, like let's say you're getting married and they're going to go to the counseling, you know, with the priest before they get married, and take all the you know, prerequisite courses, and they'll just sing along, they'll dance along to it, agree with the father, you know, they'll take their kids to the you know, Sunday mass, but, you know, and they might, you know, state that they are connected to a higher source, to their God source. However, oftentimes it's done in more of a feigning. It's not on a true level in terms of really being connected to what I would say an acknowledging of the divine and a respect of the divine. They feel that they're above the law, and they're above the law, above human law, above, you know, just above the law in general. I mean, they feel like they can take things, vandalize things, you know, take money and things of that nature. They just feel like they have no adherence to the law, but yet they will follow the law in so as to, you know, keep them and their supply source an open channel. But they will definitely target those who are like keepers of the supply. So like in an organization, if there's like a business owner and like the daughter who's an office person, and the business owner, they're going to try to get really, you know, close with and catty with, and like get to know them and try to have conversations with them. And then they're going to try to break down, you know, the boss's daughter, so they can like be buddy there, and then try to make her fall off of her game so that he can like break her down and he can find out more privy information. I mean, it's just, it's really quite in depth that they will layer their lies, and unnecessarily, but it's whatever they calculate to get themselves ahead. So if you can expose them, that, you know, that is a good thing, and your knowledge should be revenge enough. So it should be really, rather than trying to, you know, get revenge on them, realize that you're trying to build your own clarity, because your own clarity is going to mean that you're no longer their victim and that they're moving on to another victim. And you should never, ever be jealous of anyone else who is conned by them. They don't have it any better than you. In fact, you don't want to see what happens there. Do not continue to follow their relationship along. Do not try to follow them on Facebook, LinkedIn. You know, you definitely don't want to, you know, try to be in the same place with them. So do not try to follow them on social media, because that is only going to keep your mind clogged up. Just your revenge is going to be living your truth and protecting yourself. The truth will set you free, and protecting yourself and your beliefs and your children and getting them to the better life will be your ultimate revenge. Hope these videos help. Peace and harmony with you here today. Please share, subscribe for more great tools, videos, and discussions. Make it a beautiful day.